Hi, my name is Stephanie Douglas. Welcome to A View from Abroad. This is the first podcast for View from Abroad. I'm sure that, and as a first podcast and a brand new medium and technology and software, which is amazing, this first podcast is going to be a little bit about who I am and why I embraced once I understood it. Somebody actually explained it to me in a way that even a 11-year-old or a 10-year-old, say a 9-year-old who's tech savvy, could understand very easily. So I finally got it. So this is going to be a bit of an introduction about me, about who I am, where I come from, and also where I hope we will journey together with this podcast. So, and a lot of this, some of it, not all of it, is covered in my about page. I know that's long form writing, so audio for some people will be much easier um, to hear and while doing other things. So, right off the bat, I am a black Cherokee Jew. Actually, no, I'm a black white Cherokee Jew. And I was born in Los Angeles. When I was 7, my mom had heard of this little place in the Mediterranean called Ibiza, where you could walk down the streets and smell the lemon blossoms. So she packed up 3 of her kids at that point, my big sister Lizzie, me, and my little sister Jennifer, and took us to first to England, where she was going to work for 6 months, supposedly, and which she hated because it was cold, damp, the food was horrible, and nobody liked kids, so it was hard to rent anything. So 2 weeks in England instead of 6 months, and then off to Ibiza we were. And I will never forget flying into Ibiza because that's where my memories, my true memories, my consecutive memories begin. So when my mom told us we were moving to this little island and it was hot and warm and everything, my initial thing was that we would be flying in and seeing grass huts. Don't ask me why at 7 that I thought of grass huts, but that's what I thought we would be flying into. Instead, we were flying into this island where most of the houses used to be, I don't know what they're like now, were whitewashed. And so they called it Ibiza, but it's also called Avisa in Ibicenco, and La Isla Blanca, the White Island, because of the white sand beaches, because of the water that's so clear that when you first enter it, it's just pure clarity and reflects the sun, and the whitewash houses, and it was coming into this brilliant whiteness in an April's sunshine, and April there can be fairly warm. So to me, that's when my sense of being a human, my sense of being a person, and my sense of memories kind of began. And there's lots of tests and trials by fire to test who I was. One of them was when I was around 7 and a half, and we went to Spanish school because my mother said if you're going to go to another culture, you don't do the hippie American progressive schools where you can swear at anything and call their teachers by their first name. You go to Spanish school, you make Spanish friends, you become fluent in Spanish. And we did. And my sister and I, my older sister was long gone. She took off almost as soon as we got to Ibiza at 15 to go travel through Jordan and spend almost 2 years in the kibbutz and all that kind of stuff. So it was just me and my 20 months younger sister Jennifer. Yes, I am smoking and I'm drinking tea. This is Stephanie Raw live the way I am. So when I was about 7.5, um, the boys at the school were teasing the kids. Well, they were specifically teasing my sister Jennifer. She was about 5.5, almost 5.5, and I was 7.5. And as soon as we started school, the boys started harassing us. Me, I just punched a few arms and glared at them, and they backed off pretty quickly. But my sister Jennifer was being terrorized every day at recess. So it was a very typical Spanish building. So there was a courtyard where we had recess. Around the courtyard was doors to classrooms, 2 levels of them. Um, by the courtyard, in the entrance into the building proper, was this amazing um, marble staircase with dark wood handles, and it looked like it was a long, long way up to my little feet. But I walked up those stairs and I knocked on the principal's office, and he was such a nice man and so kind. And he was very gentlemanly. He offered me to sit, and I told him what was happening. And the next day, Doña Maria, my teacher, was furious. She says, "You never go to the principal's office. He is the top. He is the very top. You don't bother him with trivialities." Well, the reason why I went to the top was because the teachers weren't listening, and my mother always said, when you really want to get something done, start at the top and it trickles down to the front lines very, very fast. So that's what I did. That was my first sort of ingrained view of myself, was my duty to protect my siblings, my sister at that point. My 2 older siblings were gone from home. Elizabeth and Michael had both left home very early. That's another story about my mother's 3 marriages. But anyway, I was the middle child, but I was also the eldest at home.